You guys may not know this, but grown-ups do a lot of research and study on how to make toys. The big toys that they push every year at Christmas are what they call Watch Me toys. These are toys that do one thing and nothing else. Singing Elmos, singing Mickey Mouses, walking monsters, crying dolls. These are the kind of toys that toy companies want you to buy every year. You know why? Because after you've watched them do their thing for a while, you're bored with it. The batteries die and the toy ends up in a yard sale, and you're ready for another one. The best toys aren't Watch Me toys, they're creative toys. These are toys that allow you to create and do an unlimited amount of things. Toy companies don't push these very hard because once you buy the toy, they don't get old and you never have to replace them. And as far as creative toys go, there's few as fun as Legos. With Legos, you can build cars, airplanes, and submarines. Legos are not a toy of the moment. They're a toy that lasts. They're a toy that will grow up with you. Legos are also educational. I know you probably don't want to hear that, but it's true. Let me give you a sample Lego lesson. How many of you have ever built a house out of Legos? Is this small piece good enough to use as my foundation? Is it big enough to build an entire house on? Why not? One brick isn't going to do it. If my house isn't built on a firm foundation, it's going to collapse. It's a great picture of what Jesus is teaching in his parable of the wise and foolish builders. A foolish builder doesn't know how to begin. He picks one brick and builds an entire house on top of it, completely unaware that the entire house will soon collapse. A wise builder plans ahead. He establishes a firm foundation and builds on it. Next time you're playing with Legos, test me. See how big a building you can erect with one single brick, and then lay a wider foundation and see how high you can go. It's just a great picture of how much we need to build our lives on a firm foundation.
In a beautiful meadow, up in a tall tree, there lived a colony of bees. The bees were all friends. When they were flying together, sometimes the bees would accidentally run into each other. "I'm sorry," the bee would say. "That's okay." "I forgive you," the other bee would say. And the bees would keep flying together. They went on flower hunts together. They had bee races together. They worked together. And they flew way up high into the sky together. The bees were happy. But one day, something different happened. Two bees crashed into each other. "I'm sorry," said the first bee. "You got in my way," the angry bee said. "I'm not flying with you anymore." The angry bee flew away. "I'll show you," the angry bee said. The angry bee landed on a leaf and waited for the other bee to feel bad. "I'm gonna sit here all day." It was time to go on a flower hunt. All of the bees went looking for flowers together. But not the angry bee. He sat on a leaf being angry. "I'll show that bee," the angry bee said. "I'm going to sit here all day." Now it was time for a bee race. They flew as fast as they could, and they all had fun racing. But not the angry bee. He sat on a leaf being angry. "I'll show that bee," the angry bee said. "I'm going to sit here all day." Now it was time for the bees to make honey. All of the bees worked very hard, and they made lots of honey together. But not the angry bee. He sat on a leaf, being angry. "I'll show that bee," the angry bee said. "I'm going to sit here all day." Now it was time for the bees to fly really high up in the sky. They loved seeing who could fly the highest, and they flew up, up, up into the clouds. But not the angry bee. He sat on a leaf, being angry. "I'll show that bee," the angry bee said. "I'm going to sit here all day." But it wasn't working. All of the other bees were still happy. The other bees asked the angry bee to come and fly with them. "No, I'm still mad at him," said the angry bee. "Okay," said the bees. "We'll see you later then." The angry bee started to feel a little bit sad. He missed flying with the other bees. And he wanted to go on flower hunts again and help make honey. "I could be happy again," the bee said, "and I could do all my favorite things. All I have to do is forgive." He thought about it, and then